Hey people, it's my weekly rundown of things in entertainment news that interest me, and I want to start off this week with talking about The Hobbit. Apparently it is now going to be made into 3 movies instead of just 2. The first is coming out at the end of this year, and then the second is coming out December of next year, and I'm not sure when the third is going to be coming out. But this is interesting news. I don't really know enough about the story of The Hobbit to say whether or not I think this really warrants 3 movies, but I respect Peter Jackson, I respect the franchise, so if they are making it into 3, I think that they have a good reason for it, and they're not just trying to milk as much out of it as possible. And if you look at Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which was split into 2 parts, I think you can see when a story can really benefit from having an extended amount of time to really capture everything. Christopher Eccleston has been cast as Malekith the Accursed in the sequel to Thor. I really don't know anything at all about this character, but apparently he's the leader of the Dark Elves, and since the name of the movie is Thor the Dark World, it's looking like he's going to be the main villain of the movie, possibly. So, again, I'm really not sure what to expect with this, but I'm hopeful that it's going to turn out to be pretty cool. Marc Webb, the director of The Amazing Spider-Man, is apparently obligated to do another film for 20th Century Fox, since it has now been 3 years since he did 500 Days of Summer, but according to the LA Times, Fox is considering letting Webb go ahead and make a sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man in exchange for committing to do 2 pictures for them. So really, I'm not sure how this is all going to work out, but hopefully everything gets settled and he's able to come back and do another Spider-Man movie. Bryan Singer has confirmed that the sequel to X-Men First Class will be called Days of Future Past, which suggests that it will be based at least partially on the classic X-Men story that focuses on an alternate future in which mutants are being hunted down by Sentinels and everything is just pretty much gone to hell, so hopefully that'll be a pretty intense, cool movie there. I'm not sure how it's going to relate as a follow-up to First Class, if there's going to be characters like Bishop or Cable traveling back in time to meet the Charles and Eric that we saw in that movie, but it should be interesting to see how this plays out. Paul Dini, who is the writer for the video game Batman Arkham Asylum and one of the writers for its sequel Batman Arkham City, will apparently not be returning for the 3rd game, and it seems like he really wanted to come back and was really hoping to work on this game, but I guess they just didn't hire him back or whatever. The details aren't very clear, but it's kind of a shame to me. Paul Dini has been working with Batman for a long time. He worked on Batman the Animated Series, so he knows this character like the back of his hand. And I think he was a big part of what made the first 2 games so great in terms of the story and really being able to play this game and feel like you're walking into the world of Batman. So hopefully whoever they get next will be able to do as great a job and make this 3rd game just as good as the first 2. And for my last story of this week, a new trailer has been released for the animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. If you're not very familiar with The Dark Knight Returns, it's a classic, very influential Batman graphic novel that features an older Bruce Wayne coming out of retirement to be Batman again. So clearly a major influence on The Dark Knight Rises, so if you like that movie a lot, definitely check this out to see where it was kind of inspired by this. But even if you're not a big fan of that movie, which I'm not, and just like Batman, I think you kind of owe it to yourself to either read the graphic novel or check this movie out, because this really helped to shape what we know as the modern version of Batman. I'm not really a big fan of the story, but I do think it's pretty decent, and the trailer looks pretty awesome, so definitely at least check that out. But that's really all I've got for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next time.